What's up, everybody? I'm Paulie Malignaggi. That's Tommy Rayno, and this is Tommy and Paulie's Big Fight Forecast, where we not only discuss boxing and this weekend's upcoming boxing schedule, but we discuss it with a big gambling twist. Remember, everything discussed on Tommy and Paulie's Big Fight Forecast is not gambling or betting advice. Everything we discuss is strictly for entertainment purposes. Tommy, what do we got going on this weekend?
Few shows this weekend, nothing big as far as name-wise goes, but there's some action this weekend. So Friday night, we start off on DAZN. Canada, Kim Clavel. She's been around. She just got signed by Jake Paul, by MVP, who's seems like he's snatching up all the females and just trying to.
The way the female end of boxing is kind of an open field, right? Open pasture. So Jake is grabbing all the talent.
And not the worst idea in the world, considering look where female boxing is now compared to 4 years ago.
Yeah. He's getting in. I wouldn't say he's getting in at the ground level, but he's getting in as it's a rising stock. We'll say that. So he's getting in at a good time. I think smart play by Jake Paul here. What do you think of Clavel?
Clavel's solid. I've seen her before. She's a short, feisty little thing. Like she's a good fighter. She's cute too. So it's not hard on the eyes. She's fighting this girl Sol Kudos, who I'm not terribly familiar with. She's from Argentina. 10-0, 2 knockouts. 10-0, 2 draws, 3 knockouts. Neither one of these girls are punchers. Clavel's 21-2 with 3 knockouts, so she's not a puncher at all. But they both fight like punchers, Paulie. They're both aggressive. They throw a lot of punches. They're going to be fighting in the middle of the ring. As far as the aggressive one goes, is going to be Clavel. Clavel always a come-forward fighter, but she'll mix it up a little bit. She'll use her legs, and she'll bounce, and she'll get off on angles, and then she'll come back, and she's not going to stay in reverse for too long. So she likes to come forward. She likes to be aggressive, and she throws a lot of punches. So it's going to be a fun fight. I think it's going to be a competitive fight. I think it's going to be a close fight, some swing rounds, and that's how it is with females. A lot of these rounds, these 2-minute rounds, they're tough to score sometimes. That's why you end up with so many draws with the female fights. This fight, first and foremost, is going the distance. I don't see anybody getting stopped here. Neither one of these girls are big punchers, but again, they both fight like it. They'll go out there and hit you and get your attention. But on paper, from a statistical standpoint, I mean, you got one girl with 3 knockouts, one girl with 3 knockouts over 35 combined pro fights. It's going the distance.
Yeah. And they also, part of the reason they go the distance too is because they show up in shape, they show up ready, and 2 minutes per round is just, not enough to hurt somebody enough to get the stoppage. Sometimes, with 3-minute rounds, you don't necessarily have to be a one-punch knockout person to get the stoppage. You hurt them, and then you have enough time in the round to get the finish. But with 2-minute rounds, a lot of times that option is taken away. So it's, these women don't have the full 3 minutes to get the stoppage if they hurt somebody.
Unless we're talking about Fundora, she just keep kicking her ass from second one until the referee stops it.
Yeah. I mean, then there's exceptions to the rule every once in a while. Fundora is what's her name, Gabriella Fundora. Yeah. So she's one of those exceptions, and there has been other exceptions we've seen in the past with women's boxing. But with the 2-minute rounds, it's very, very difficult to get a knockout record unless you're really, really a genuine puncher or a genuine destroyer. So Clavel, you expect to go the distance here this weekend on the Jake Paul show.
Yeah, and being at the show is in Canada, Clavel's hometown, and be a little tricky for a girl from Argentina. They're bringing her in for a reason. But honestly, from the footage that I saw, the Clavel's the more polished fighter. They're very similar, but Kudos is a little off balance at times, a little telegraphed, a little wide. So I think Clavel is a combination of being the more polished fighter, the more experienced fighter, and fighting at home. And being with MVP Promotions, everything's pointing in that direction. So I'm going with Clavel for a 10-round decision.
Clavel on points. All right, man. All right. What else? Anything else on Friday?
There are other shows on the undercard of DAZN. I don't recall if anything was on the book, but whatever was on the book was not on the app. Was not worth covering. I mean, probably talking about a 5,000 situation.
Saturday we got the Pro Box show that I'm working actually, and Pro Box fights, not because I work for them, but Pro Box fights are always good, always fun, always exciting, and solid matchups. I think the boxing fans that have tuned into Pro Box fights, they know that it's always a good level of boxing and solidly even matchups, regardless of the odds. There's a lot of upsets and a lot of difficult things to pick. Really, what's your thought here?
So co-main event, Najee. Actually, it's Emilio Moreno is the co-main event.
Emilio Moreno is the co-main event, against Raul Garcia.
12-0, 7 knockouts. Young kid, 20 years old.
Yeah.
Looks the part too.
I've worked several Moreno fights, and he's very, very explosive. Has sometimes a tendency to start real slow and like look like he's not going to throw any punches, and then all of a sudden he throws like 1,000 punches all at once, you know. And good body puncher. Um, he's been doing better. I think the last fight with Eric Bonet, when he got a stoppage against a solid veteran like Bonet, he did a better job at getting started. Sometimes he needs to almost get hit to sort of all of a sudden wake him up. And when he wakes up all at once, you know. And I think that's just part of the youth, right? But I think as he's maturing, funny I say maturing, the kid is still only 20 years old, but as he's maturing, he's learning to sort of get started on his own and take control of the fight on his own without needing to, you know, take a shot or feel the threat or whatnot, you know. He struggled a little bit against Cesar Francis, and I think that was a big learning experience for him, you know.
Cesar Francis is a solid fighter too.
Solid fighter, yeah. But he was coming on when they stopped the fight. He was coming on. They ended up being a little bit of an early stoppage, and they ended up changing it to a no contest. But he was coming on, and he had hurt Francis, and that's hence the stoppage. But it was a little bit of an early stoppage in that Francis should have been given a chance, being that he'd had a successful early part of the fight, to work to see if he could get his way back into the fight, or if Moreno was going to continue with the momentum he picked up and get the stoppage, you know. So I think that Francis fight sort of taught him. In the Bonet fight, I noticed a more calculated Moreno, who is you know, went for the kill on his own and didn't really need to get himself into any early hole before against a veteran. He wanted to go right after the veteran, and he did, and he got an impressive stoppage. With Garcia, Tommy, I've seen Garcia on Pro Box too. It's funny. He has a loss to Vladimir Hernandez. Vladimir Hernandez is an upset specialist.
Yes.
Who also has a win over ex-world champion Julian Williams. Now, Garcia, I think when he fought Vladimir, Garcia was undefeated, actually. He may have been undefeated at the time he fought Vladimir. But Vladimir sort of wore him down. Garcia's solid. You know, doesn't do anything spectacularly, but does everything pretty solid. Can be a bit crafty.
Neither does Vladimir. Vladimir just grinds you down and just keep coming forward.
Vladimir just grinds you down, and that's the point there of that fight. I think eventually the craftiness of Raul wasn't enough to offset the pace Vladimir ended up setting. But, I mean, Vladimir runs marathons as a hobby. That guy's a different level, you know, as far as, you know, but he doesn't have a lot of dimensions. He's just effort. And he broke down Garcia and he started winning those rounds and he beat him on points. Kudos to Garcia for lasting the distance, because the momentum went with Vladimir as the fight moved on.
Was that competitive?
It was competitive early, yeah. It was competitive early, but Vladimir has a tendency to be competitive early, and then sort of the pace becomes overwhelming for guys who aren't up the level. And Raul Garcia showed that he was decent level, but he wasn't of a level. He wasn't able to offset that pace Vladimir set, you know. So, you know, when you're looking at it from that perspective, Moreno is probably a better Vladimir Hernandez, because he can bring a pace when he gets going, but he also has a skill set there too. Very, very violent body puncher. What I mean by violent is, you know, he will really put those shots in, put his weight on all of them and look to really hurt you. Puts the numbers together. A fight that I'm looking forward to. You know, like I said, I've worked with both guys. I won't get into too much of my thoughts as a winner. I'll leave that up to you, especially the fact that I'm working that fight. But a good matchup.
Yeah. I don't know a lot about Garcia. I know he's from the Dominican Republic. I know the record is a little bit inflated. 14-2, 12 knockouts, so he could punch. But again, who's he punching with? But I always say one thing. Listen, 12 knockouts in 14 fights. Even if you're knocking out cab drivers, you're still knocking them out. You can still punch a little bit. Durable. He's only been stopped one time. Nothing special about him that I really see. Durable, tough, a little bit slow, a little bit predictable. Yeah, Moreno for the win. As far as the odds go, he's a minus 230, which is very good odds on a fight that I feel that Moreno should definitely win. Now, the thing is, there are no prop bets up yet as far as decision or knockout, which will probably come up late tonight, early tomorrow. So, you want to get greedy or not? I mean, does he stop this guy? It's a 10-round fight. Garcia's a durable guy. Garcia maybe goes the distance, maybe he doesn't. Maybe a late stoppage. I would stick with Moreno for the money line.
Maybe Moreno for the money line, you're saying, and maybe look into the live bet situation. See how the
big on that, aren't you? Getting more and more.
The fight evolves. You know, I mean,
possibly, yeah. Listen, as I've said on the show many times, I do multiple parlays. I don't sit there and just do one big parlay. I do several smaller parlays, $20, $30, and I'll do 8 to 10 of them using one particular guy, like a Moreno. So yeah, I'll use him on the money line maybe like 5-6 times, and then I'll check it out live and see what's what.
All right, all right. And the main event on that Pro Box card, we got Najee Lopez against Kalvin Henderson.
Yeah.
Henderson has been in with Dave Morrell. Didn't last too long, but has been in with David Morrell. Najee Lopez has been a guy who's been very impressive on Pro Box. Got some good wins. Has been matched rather tough for a prospect. I've seen these fights that he's been matched in. It can be a little bit chinny, but he's also very, very explosive, powerful, very explosive, and very athletic. You know, I half Puerto Rican fighter who is trying to learn to speak Spanish more clearly, so that he can sort of gravitate that market as well. But Najee, assuming his chinny issues, don't cost him, he's a very, very good fighter. Now, Henderson is sort of a barometer because Henderson's been in with Morrell, and I know through the grapevine, because Najee is at Pro Box, that he is possibly scheduled for a title eliminator after this fight if he's able to get through this. So I know he was also in conversations and talks to be Beterbiev's next opponent, but Beterbiev wound up going with an older guy, who's a little bit more faded.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't want to take a chance on a young, hungry guy like Najee Lopez in Beterbiev's next fight. But either way, Najee's starting to go into that conversation, and I think this fight with Henderson will really tell us whether that should be the next move or not. But conversation wise, it seems like it will be.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen of him, very explosive, bad intentions on his punches, trying to get rid of you, mix it up, head body. Kalvin, I've only really seen footage of him fighting really Dave Morrell. There's not a lot out there. With Morrell, again, it's very difficult to ascertain how good a guy is when you're in there with one of the best in the world. He took a beating. He got stopped in the 4th round. He was laying on the ropes. He was just playing defense and not getting off a lot of offense. So I mean, listen, Lopez is most likely not better than Morrell. We can say that much. But so he's getting in there with a guy that you could say, there's nothing I haven't seen before. Like, all right, there's nothing new I'm going to see from this guy. I've seen it all before. Morrell brings a lot of dimensions to the game, especially coming from the southpaw stance. He can box, he can punch. But Lopez obviously is the favorite here for a reason. He's a minus 1,300. He's a heavy favorite. The prop bets are not out as far as a stoppage or decision goes yet. They'll be out today again. They'll be out either tonight or tomorrow. You got to lean towards Lopez. He's the young guy. He's the A side. He's got more upside. Kalvin Henderson has a draw. He's got 2 losses, and again, he didn't look too great with Morrell. I mean, not that many people are going to, but I mean, he really did nothing against Morrell. So you got to get Lopez going to look to put him on the ropes and punish him in a similar fashion.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, if he's the kind of guy who lays on the ropes a bit, and allows himself to get overwhelmed, he's got to be careful with a guy like Lopez who has a very nice punch selection once he starts to trap you like that, and good speed, goes to the body well, goes to the head well. We'll see what Henderson, if Henderson's able to sort of, keep himself from being put in such positions against a hungry prospect like Lopez.
Yeah. All right, so there's 3 down. So we'll go with Lopez, and again, money as far as the money line goes, minus 1,300. It's not the best odds in the world. So, you know what, Paul? We keep saying it, but that's more so than I feel. I think Moreno wins the fight. As far as Lopez goes, I think that's more realistically a live bet situation because you have minus 1,300 odds, right? So I mean, there's no value there. So you might as well see what's going on after round 2, 3, and say, you know what, is there a stoppage on the cards?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Najee does look for the stoppage, but sometimes his issue has been in looking too strongly for the stoppage. He runs into a shot, and he's shown some chin issues at times. But man, his offense is explosive, and like I said, he's very athletic. He just has to be a bit responsible with it. So we'll see. Yeah, possibly the live bet situation here is the one to look for because a stoppage is certainly on the table. But again, you don't know with Najee, he could walk into something.
Yeah.
We'll see. Anything else on Saturday?
Yeah, we got one more. Is DAZN Saturday afternoon. That's in the UK. Ben Crocker against Sean McComb. Two guys that are not big punchers. This fight's at junior welterweight, 140 pounds. Ben Crocker is the prospect. He's 14-0 with a draw, 2 knockouts. Not a big puncher at all. Sean McComb has been in there. He's 19-2 with 5 knockouts. He's not a big puncher himself, but this guy got robbed against Barbosa at the Barclays Center a couple years back. Absolutely robbed.
Yeah, I remember that fight. Yep.
Tall, long jab, southpaw. I thought he beat Barbosa basically like 7 rounds to 3. I thought it was an easy one-sided affair, and they robbed him. They kept Barbosa, his undefeated record in the mix. He's the Golden Boy fighter. He's the house fighter. He's the A side. But Sean McComb won that fight.
So what do you think here? There's an opportunity here for McComb to sort of move his way back into the junior welterweight picture
McComb should win this. I think McComb wins
on a
this
global
fight.
stage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think McComb's a borderline world class fighter. Right now, he's a domestic level fighter, but I think this guy's got borderline world class skills. So this is the kind of fight you beat a guy that's 14-0, and then you move on to the next, and you step back into the world class level.
Yeah, and in a good weight class, 140 pounds, a good weight class. What do you think here? McComb on points then?
Yeah, I'm leaning towards the points. He's a minus 500. All right, so it's not great odds. He's a minus 500. He is the B side.
He's on a money line, or he's on
the money line. Interestingly enough, now Crocker is a plus 360. Interestingly enough, Crocker is the undefeated fighter and the A side. He's the A side, but he's the underdog. You don't see that.
They got to be careful there, because in Ireland we just had a weird decision with the A and B side, right? Last week was
a couple of weeks back. That was Belfast, yeah. And another Crocker, by the way, yeah.
Another.
No, I don't think. I honestly think McComb is just levels above. I think also Crocker's only been a 10-round distance, I believe, 2 times. Might be 3. Okay. He avenged a loss. He avenged a draw. He's got that draw that he avenged. He barely scraped by in the rematch. It was a 96-95 type fight. He's already hit the canvas once in his career. I see him getting backed up. I see McComb winning this fight easy. I mean, McComb's not a big puncher. He got 5 KOs. I'm going to stick with the money line on this one because there is an outside chance for a stoppage late, because I think there might be a serious discrepancy in skills as far as McComb being head and shoulders above.
Yeah. So, and of course, when you talk about this way, you like the parlay options, so
you
put a guy like minus 500. It's not just a minus 500. You patch him up with a couple of other.
You put him in there with Moreno, who's a minus 230, and then Najee Lopez.
Yeah, and then what's it? The girl from
Clavel. I mean, the odds on that one are not bad, and that fight's going to go the distance. The props bets again, we're not up for that one, but both. I'm more confident in the Clavel Kudos fight going the distance than the Crocker McComb fight. I think there's an outside chance that McComb might get a stoppage, but realistically, it most likely goes that 10-round distance. But as far as Kim Clavel fight goes with Kudos, that fight goes the distance. Once you start putting those together and mixing and matching, you're going to walk away with plus odds.
All right.
Especially working all that off the Moreno fight, which again, the odds might be, at minus 230. You don't got to do a whole lot to get plus odds.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Tommy. That's this week's Tommy and Paulie's Big Fight Forecast, guys, and we hope you enjoyed it. Let us know what you think in the comment section. Let me know what you picked. And I know we got some of our gambling heads out there who like to watch the show. Let us know your thoughts on some of these fights. Let us know your thoughts on some of these picks. Like and subscribe, guys, and we'll see you next time on Tommy and Paulie's Big Fight Forecast.